Well, hello everyone, it's me, Mary or Hawk, and welcome back to another video. Today is an unscripted rambly rant all about Amanita muscaria mushrooms. Yes, the mushroom on this ring here, and the misinformation that is commonly cited out there on the internet when you research this mushroom. In a lot of places when you research, be it encyclopedias, field guides, some places there are health area agencies will tell you that this is a poisonous deadly mushroom that'll kill you dead. But they're dead wrong about that. First off, there is a long historical usage that is documented of this mushroom, and while the most famous examples might put people off, that being Siberian shamans and berserkers, there's also usage of it throughout Europe, especially northern and north central and eastern Europe especially, of usage of this mushroom as a pain relief agent, as for its pain relieving properties, as well as things like anxiety relief and the like, especially with the muscimol component, is found to be very good at relieving pain and anxiety in people, and it has a long documented historical usage of that, especially in like Russian speaking areas. But you know what you don't see a lot of? A lot of death reports. The most famous death report that allegedly comes about from Amanita muscaria wasn't actually from Amanita muscaria. It was miscited because when you look at what was in this guy's system, they're like, oh, it's Amanita. This guy had amatoxins in his system. Must have been Amanita muscaria. That's not Amanita. Well, this particular Amanita, that being Amanita muscaria, does not contain amatoxins. I'd like to put that out there. This mushroom does not contain the deadly amatoxins that other Amanita might. It's very unique in that regard, or very good in that regard that it doesn't contain that. But you know, these incidents where people supposedly died of this, often it wasn't that, because if it had been, there wouldn't be amatoxins in their system. I'm just putting that out there. I'd also like to say there is also a lot of misinformation about the compounds of this mushroom. This mushroom does not contain psilocybin. It contains ibotenic acid, muscimol, and muscarine for the most part. Also some beta-glucan activity, but primarily ibotenic acid and muscimol. And there's a lot of fear-mongering and demonization when it comes to this mushroom in particular, because a lot of sources will say that this is especially ibotenic acid gives you brain lesions. First off, the studies that are saying this are disingenuous. And I know that you might be like, the studies are saying that are disingenuous? What do you mean? It's science. Well, here's why I say that. It is done on rats, not humans. It is isolated ibotenic acid injected into the rat's brain, and just about anything passing through the blood-brain barrier injected into the brain could cause issues. Also, you don't take Amanita muscaria by way of injection, let alone in through the brain. You don't take it that way. You take it by drying and decarboxylizing it, usually to have ibotenic acid, half muscimol. And then what you do is you either prepare it in a tea, you prepare it in a tincture, you can use it as an oil or a salve, or you could use it in a smoke blend. Notice how none of those are injections through the brain. It passes through a number of mechanisms through your body. It gets passed through these different filters and digestion processes before it ends up in your brain, or reaching your brain for the most part. Like, it passes through the body. I mean, yes, some of it gets to your brain, but like, it doesn't necessarily pass immediately through the blood-brain barrier through injection. We don't have much evidence of this causing, last I checked, brain lesioning when taken in the typical way of administering a dose. Second off, we're not isolating necessarily the compounds. I mean, to a degree, we are decarboxylizing it, so it's roughly half ibotenic acid and half muscimol, maybe more or less depending on the person's wants and needs, but we're not generally doing pure of one or the other. I mean, if we do, it's usually the muscimol, not the ibotenic acid. And then there's other studies out there that say, well, this causes hallucinations, it causes muscle spasms, it causes delirium, it causes gastrointestinal issues, sweating, confusion. And I'm like, the studies that cite that are often citing people eating this mushroom raw, which again, if you look at the proper preparation of this mushroom, most people are not eating this mushroom raw. They are drying or hydrating and decarboxylizing this mushroom and then using it through one of the ways that I said earlier. They're not eating it raw, so that's a bit disingenuous as well, because it ignores the way in which most people interact with this mushroom when they are looking to ingest it in some way. Which is why I have an issue with a lot of these studies and these field guides and these encyclopedias and these websites citing these disingenuous studies because they're not really giving you an accurate look at how people are using this mushroom, and they're just fear-mongering and demonizing it, as far as I'm concerned, which just really upsets me as somebody who has gotten a great deal of use from this mushroom. I do and have taken Amanita muscaria and its more potent cousin Amanita pantherina, and I'd like to say that this mushroom has changed my life for the better in many tremendous ways. And none of this is medical advice. Don't take what I'm about to say as medical advice, but it's helped me personally, this anecdotally, with my anxiety and depression. It has helped me with like that significantly because my doctor actually took me off my Lexapro because of the way that Amanita muscaria works in the brain. It works, the ibotenic acid is an analog for glutamate, whereas the muscimol works on your GABA A receptors. Those two combined really helped my anxiety and depression significantly, and to the point where it worked better than the SSRI I was on. I was taken off that SSRI, and I've been a lot better for it since. Likewise, it's helped me with my allergies. I used to have to take Flonase every spring and summer every day because I would get such bad hay fever that I would not be able to swallow water practically. My throat would be that swollen. But ever since I started microdosing this mushroom, I haven't needed to do that for some reason. And I am very happy about that. For whatever reason it does that, I am very happy it does that for me. Likewise, it helps with my chronic pain, especially with my endometriosis or period pain. And I'm really happy about that because pain meds don't touch that. While my birth control does help a bit, my Nexplanon, this is just an added benefit for my endometriosis, I would say. It's helped me significantly. And in general, it's also been helpful for some of my other disorders like misophonia that I have. Mine's really severe because I'm also autistic, and this has been the only thing to even remotely touch the misophonia and let it subside so I can have peace of mind when people smack their lips. Because when people smack their lips normally, I get like a huge fight or flight response, like really bad. Like it's not good. But with Amanita muscaria in my system, it doesn't trigger me. I can just absorb the trigger and let it go, which is not really heard of when it comes to me. So the fact that anything can do that for me is game-changing. And the reason that this misinformation out there boils my blood is because this misinformation is pushed out there. It's promoted like crazy. When you look up this mushroom, that's what you get. And the correct information on how to take it, how to dose it, how to decarboxylize it, that's generally suppressed by most platforms and algorithms, or taken down by the respective platforms or algorithms as misinformation is going to hurt people. Well, actually, no, it's going to help people because at least there's resources out there on how to properly take this safely if you're going to take this. And the fact that the misinformation about it being this poisonous, deadly thing is pushed out there while the correct information is suppressed is really frustrating. And I'd like to add to an earlier point when it comes to correct preparation of this mushroom, because people are like, well, if you're not eating it raw and injecting it, why is it mentioned? I don't know, but like that really gives me the ick, because it's like, okay, if you don't prepare chicken properly, it'll give you salmonella. But when you look up chicken recipes or chicken consumption, it doesn't go, don't eat it, don't touch it, it'll give you salmonella, you'll die, you'll have the shits. Like, it won't say that. But if you look up Amanita muscaria, the fear-mongering and the demonization just comes out the woodworks. But you don't get that with chicken. When really, if you just prepare it properly and safely, and you don't take too much of it, you'll be fine. Like, too much of anything can be an issue. Like, the poison's in the dose. Even water is a poison in the right dose. But a lot of places don't want me saying that, and they want to suppress that, but it's true. And I just wanted to say, like, my main points is just, I'm tired of places suppressing the proper information. And I know you might be here wondering, like, where did you get the proper information on this mushroom and enough to want to take it and having taken it before? I'll show you a few resources. I've heard this book is good. I have not read it properly. Personally, I mean, myself, but it's The Fungal Pharmacy, The Complete Guide to Medicinal Mushrooms and Lichens of North America by Robert Rogers. This book on Amazon, I've heard, according to Amanita Dreamer, is really good. She did an interview with the author, I believe, and this is a very good book. Likewise, if you've heard Amanita Dreamer, that person's a very fantastic resource for Amanita Muscaria. They have their own website, and she also has a YouTube channel here on YouTube. Likewise, the microdosing book by Dr. Baba Masha is absolutely a wonderful resource. It tells you about this 2,000 person citizen science study by Dr. Baba Masha, where she just compiled all the data she could, good, bad, or negative, and good, bad, or indifferent, I mean, and she's compiled it in. She gave some of the chemistry about this mushroom, about it being the analogs in the brain, specifically here. If you can read that, you can screenshot it, but that's, like, it gives you really accurate and good information, and I'm just tired of the misinformation about this mushroom being proliferated everywhere on the internet. That's the main point of this video. If you got anything out of this, I hope you did. Thank you for watching. This is Hawk signing out, and thank you for coming along with me on this part of my journey, and remember, Amanita Muscaria will not kill you dead.